I'm Miriam Joy, and welcome to my studio. Today we're working on Halloween jewelry, and this is one I did several years ago, and it's still one of my favorite pieces. We're going to call it our Crossbones earrings, and we're going to make this for you, and it doesn't take very long at all. When I first found these little guys, I found them in necklaces with several other things, and like a few of these on at the dollar stores or Dollar Tree. And I haven't found them this year, but I did find them on a bracelet with several of them on there at Michael's this year. So you have crossbones and the skull, and the crossbones and then skull, and just one bracelet made several of them. So there you do have some places where you still can get those. And I put them on a hoop that's 1.5 inch hoop. I believe that is correct. Just around 1.5 inch hoop. If you can't find the hoops, you don't have to have the hoop. You can do it without the hoop. But I really like that. Look for your hoop in your jewelry section. You've got to make sure that whatever you're putting inside that hoop will fit. So it's got to be a big enough hoop that will fit inside the skeleton, and bones will fit fine inside. We're going to be using a head pin, and the reason we call it a head pin is because it has the head pin or the end on it, so you don't have to twist it or anything. This is a 3-inch one, and we're going to first put on a 4mm silver bead. If I could find the hole here, that will help. Put that on, and we want to make sure that it is that big, that is not smaller than that, that is a 4mm, and I'll explain that in just a moment. And then I'm going to put on the crossbones, and then I'm going to do something a little bit different here that I haven't done in the past. I'm going to put a little bit of E6000 on the crossbones right before I put the skull on. The reason for that is so that it keeps the skull from turning side to side once it's glued all the way. So, because I wear mine and then sometimes my skull will be over here or somewhere different. So that's going to keep that from occurring. If your skull has a little plastic part on them, just trim that with your snips. And we're going to go ahead and place him on top of that glue on our head pin and get that going the way you want him and get that nice and secure. I bent that just a little bit. These guys are a little bit softer. So straighten that out. And then we're going to go ahead and put one more bead up on top. I did try it with some colored beads, and it just doesn't blend in with the style I'm looking for, so I didn't do that. So now I'm going to take my bottlenose tweezers, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bump that right up against that bead all the way. Wire should be nice and tight, and this is going to leave us the room that we need to wrap the rest of this wire around that. We're going to bend our wire back first. We're going to kind of create a hook, and I'm going to move that up on top now of that bend and bring it back all the way to the other direction. Now if we didn't have to put our hoop on, you'd keep on going there, but we've got to stop and put our hoop on. You can see this hoop has a little hang section so that you can hang things in the middle. So we're going to put it in there. And we're going to go back to where we were, right in the middle of that. And we're going to bend the wire around probably at least 2 to 3 times until that gets nice and tight up against that bead with hardly any room. I think I've got 4 on it, and I didn't get them as even as they should be, so I can kind of squeeze them together a little bit. But you want that nice and tight, and you don't want too much room that hangs down past that circle hoop. You just want a few times. So the shorter you have that, the actually better that is. And then once you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and trim it. And we're going to tuck our tail nice and flat so it's not poking anybody. Now, there is a front and a back to this. You can see this is the back and this is the front. And you just kind of want to move your skeleton around so that he is laying or positioned in the front. I'm working on that wire, just one more thing there. I'll tuck that tail in just a minute. Don't have him quite all the way in. It does take a little bit of practice when you first start to do jewelry, and I'm a little bit out of practice. It was one of the first things I started doing. So we have him laying there. Now, all we're going to do is take our earring piece, and this is really simple. And if you'll notice, there is one end that is open and one end that is not. So we're going to bend the one that is open just ever so slightly. I don't know if I got him enough here. We'll see. That we can place our hoop onto it. And this hangs straight, so we don't need a jump ring in between. We just can put it straight on, which is really nice. We didn't have to work with any wire other than our head pin, which is really great too. Get this guy just a little bit more over. Slide him on and bend him back, and it's real important that you push him in and tighten him next to that so that it can't slide off on you. Do that nice and tight up against that wire there, and you have your Crossbones skeleton. Isn't that really fun? And you can make necklaces out of these. And like I was saying, if you don't have the hoops, you could just do it in a pair of earrings just like that. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed making these as much as I did. I think they're a really fun Halloween earring or jewelry, and I haven't been always happy with it. A lot of times the jewelry out there for Halloween is kind of plastic and childish looking, so I like something a little bit more fun. And just give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Please share our video and pass it along. Come over to our Facebook page at Miriam Joy's Waxy Crafty Corner, where we always have something fun up to inspire you. Thank you so much for joining us today. God bless.